All right, I'm kind of in the mood to talk a little crazy, and I'm not trying to be insensitive. I think I just heard the stupidest thing I have ever heard, and I'm not smarter for hearing it. Charlie was so strong that a 30-06 bullet bounced off of him and lodged under his skin. You know, when you have to eat shit, which I don't like eating shit, they say it's best to, take a big bite and swallow and not to nibble on it. And at this point in time, they just keep giving us a little bit and a little bit and a little bit to nibble on. And that shit is really starting to taste bad. Where if you would have just took it down in one bite and swallowed it, it wouldn't have been so bad. But nope, you're savoring every little bite at the moment. You know, they say when you go bear hunting, you want to use like 44 Magnum. 357 Magnum's good, but it can be underpowered. It can bounce off the skull or the bones of a bear. That a bear, black bear, brown bear, can be so dense, their bones, that a bullet bounce right off it. Human beings, on the other hand, if you've spent any time on the internet and you've looked at Paul Harold, for example, the late great Paul Harold, his brother Roy took over his channel. Um, yeah, pork chop pectorals and some oranges and some fake lung tissue. Like, that bullet rips through a lot more than we realize. And how many of us have sat there and thought, oh, the bullet got stopped in it, just to find out it went through the fleece, went through to the back of the new and improved fleece bullet stop. And with all this stuff that everyone's been talking lately, the one thing that comes to mind, at least for me, is Federal a few years ago came out with this ammo that was a pop metal design. I was trying to find a video of it, but I can't find it. But it was a pop metal round, which I thought was very intriguing and was something that I was like, I want this. Basically, it was copper and pop metal, melted together and squished together instead of a normal lead bullet or, brass projectile, copper projectile, I should say. Misspoke. This one, instead of being a solid mass, when it hit something, it just turned to dust. So it'd be perfect for, schools, hallways, pretty much any scenario, jails. A bullet, when it hits concrete, as far as I know, travels parallel and goes at a 45-degree angle. You can shoot at someone under a car or on the other side of a car. If you aim a few feet before it, you can bounce the bullet at them. This Federal round, this pop metal round, would eliminate that. The bullet would essentially just turn into dust. Spalling is what a lot of people talk about when he says he's wearing body armor, which if you're wearing body armor and you watch anyone that's wearing it, posture is up. You're not slouching with body armor, especially a steel plate. And you're only going to get spalling with steel plates. Spalling is where the bullet hits the metal, the bullet breaks into pieces and comes up. Now, as far as I've seen with my experience on YouTube, bullets, when they hit metal, blow apart. It's usually why when you see people on YouTube shooting steel targets, the 2x4s are all tore up. Yeah, that's called the spalling, or the damage from the spalling. All the bullet fragments going off onto the sides and hitting. I don't think he's wearing body armor. I'm starting to think he was shot from the back of the head. And that bullet traveled down and came out because it's, and they say it's the TMJ, that celery stalk right above your neck. If you hit that, you're done. There's nothing they can do. It severs the spinal cord and you fall. I mean, it's not good. And that's usually what they tell police officers, like the one gentleman that runs thinklikeacop.org. He talks about that, shooting the celery stalk, hitting someone at the base of the stem or something, because anywhere in there, If you hit them, though, they're done. There's nothing you can do. They drop. The main thing that this comes from is the Miami-Dade shootout. The Miami-Dade shootout, the one gentleman with the AR, or no AR, it was a Mini 14. The one gentleman with a Mini 14, he was literally the Walking Dead. One of the 9mm bullets, I believe, stopped right before his heart. If it would have went about another, quarter inch more, it would have put him down. But he was still literally bleeding out. He was the Walking Dead, and he was still popping off rounds with the Mini 14. I mean, the Miami-Dade shootout's a prime example how things can just go to shit. How you have a plan and it goes to shit. And it also a prime example on, caliber choice and weapon choice is a big thing, especially when you're looking at revolvers where you got to reload, and that's a whole other topic. It's just crazy that this little bit of BS they keep feeding us, and that taste that I have in my mouth at the moment, especially after hearing this bullet bounced off of him. It's because he's not a bear. There's no way. I've watched too many Paul Harold videos and seen bullets rip through it. I would have to guess probably a 9mm carbine with one of those federal rounds, so that way you eliminate that bullet going, because where did that bullet go? They say they got the bullet and it was in them, but I doubt that. Maybe the bullet ended up in the ground, and that's why they redid the whole courtyard, because they didn't want someone coming along 6 months later. Oh, look it! I found the bullet. That would sort of throw the official narrative out the window. Maybe that's why they redid the courtyard and everything so quick. And even this guy, he's probably a patsy. I mean, if he ain't a patsy, he got suckered into something, and what's to say he's even in jail? How do I know he's in jail? Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Maybe this is just all a ploy, and he's living over there on Epstein's Island. Yep, just don't ever come back to the U.S. You gotta stay here. Or it's just AI generated. Or they scanned him and killed him, and it's all propaganda. But I just don't know what to believe. Usually they say 2 truths and a lie. They tell you 2 truths and a lie. Or was it 2 lies and a truth? I don't remember. But people usually tell you their lies and their truths. The future's going to be interesting. Especially with everything. Watched a little bit of Charlie Kirk's memorial service, and that's crazy. Going on for 8 hours. Can't do that. I've been through enough memorial services. I don't want to sit through another one, especially like that. I never was real religious. It was non-denomination. I believe it, but I don't believe everything. I believe in good versus evil, and heaven and hell. But I don't really believe everything that we've been told. Can you blame me? History is written by the victors, and the victors get to write the history that they want and not the history that actually was. Because not always the good guy winning. Sometimes it's the bad guy winning. Ain't really much more for me to say. I just felt like I had to ramble on for a minute, because like I said, after hearing that guy said the bullet went through his neck and Charlie was so strong. Then I heard another guy, the gun collapsed down and collapsed down. A gun collapsing like that's an AR pistol. They have those. I've seen them fitting in ammo cans. An AR pistol with, a pop metal round, an ice round. They have ice rounds. I mean, you don't want collateral damage. So, if ham butts and coconuts, it's going to be interesting to see what the future has to hold. I was hoping for a zombie apocalypse. not a holy war, but oh well. I guess it's about the same, right? Maybe it's not. I wanted zombies. Maybe the grid going out. Can we still do the EMP? Is that too late? And that's always been the thing. Like, I think it was Israel or Iran. One of them. Not too good with my memory sometimes, but I remember them talking about a plan to get us was to bring a container ship over here into the Gulf of America. I'm happy I said that right. Into the Gulf of America with a nuclear weapon, and they would launch it 100 miles up into the atmosphere and detonate it, so it would send out an EMP, fry all electronics. Then they would scuttle the ship and leave, and we would be left scratching our heads wondering what happened. And while we are busy fighting at home, they will be able to do whatever they want while we're busy at home trying to figure this out. But, if ain't butts and coconuts. If they do that, we got about 14 days before the nuclear power plants start going off. So, yeah, that's a fun fact. Used to think an EMP would be fun. Then you find out that, oh, yeah, nuclear power plants without power start going nuclear. Yeah, they'll just blow up without anyone there to maintain them or shut them down properly. Well, y'all try to have a good night and be safe, and thanks for letting me ramble on for a few minutes.